Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Unfiltered. It has been a minute, so we are here today with Tamur, Nazish, and Umama, and I am sure that you guys have heard about everything that's going on right now between Israel and Palestine and the oppression that's been happening to Palestine by the Israeli government. It's been really, really crazy and terrible sight to see. But today, something we want to talk about that has been covered in like mainstream media. I mean, none of it being covered in mainstream media, but like on social media is the amount of influencers that aren't speaking out against what's happening as like an obvious like war crime. So we want to talk about that a little bit further today and expand on it. So the first thing that I have on my little list to talk about is it okay for people not to post because they feel that like they're not educated enough? And this is people on like Instagram, Twitter, maybe your friends you went to high school with that aren't Muslim or don't and know any Palestinian or don't have any Palestinian friends. Like, is it okay for them not to post just because they're not educated on the topic?
So, given the current climate of like everything that's going on in the world, like even from like a year ago to with like Black Lives Matter, we have social media. There's TV, there's news, there's Google. You have access to computers. You have your phone. There's no excuse not to know what's going on. And if you don't, you should definitely initiate that research or like try to educate yourself in some way or another, because I feel like there's no excuse not to educate yourself. And even when I was on TikTok, I'd see a bunch of people saying that, oh, if it doesn't affect me, why should I care to know? And I replied to some person, I was just like, okay, just because it doesn't affect you does not mean you should know what's going on the other side of the world. There's innocent children being killed. And what's your excuse not to educate yourself? If you don't post, that's another conversation. But the first step you can at least take is educating yourself, because it's not that difficult.
Yeah, I think whatever's happening is right in front of us. Sure, mainstream media isn't covering it, but we're finding out all these things on social media. I'm honestly just gonna say, like, there's no excuse to be that dumb where you can't post about it. Yeah, that's my take.
I hate how it's like if it doesn't affect you, people don't find the need to learn about it. And as Umama, you were saying, we went through everything we did with BLM, and that was all over U.S. and certain things, and it sucks. I think we should all do our part and just, even if it doesn't affect it doesn't hurt to learn new things, you know, and especially it's a serious topic. Like, this is being compared to the Holocaust straight up, because
Yeah.
it is.
It is.
It's that bad, and people just want to live on with their lives and stuff. I think it shows a lot about the person, whoever is not trying to learn about this topic in general.
I think deeper down in like the roots of it, right? Especially if it doesn't concern you, I feel like it's that much more important that you speak up so your voice is
Yeah.
heard. Like, I think it really highlights your privilege.
Yeah.
Like, if you're privileged enough to a point where it doesn't affect you, like if BLM didn't affect you because let's say you were a white straight male, right, for example,
Yeah.
or anything like that, then it was even more important for them to speak up.
It's your right, yeah.
So
at
then
that
you
point.
could actually help make the change for the people that are sitting in those seats with the same privilege as you.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So that's why it's even more important.
And
to
like you
highlight-
said,
yeah.
if it's someone who isn't educated on it, or if it's not affecting them, like specifically, if you think about it, the people that aren't being affected are more privileged. They have more of a influence on other people. So obviously, Muslims are going to post about everything that's going on in Palestine. But if it's like a non-Muslim, or if it's like a white person posting about it that has no relation to Muslims or Palestinians or whatsoever, it's a bigger influence to like whatever audience that they have, or whatever people that are looking at their story. Like, oh wow, they care about it. Let me look at it. If that makes sense.
Even if you take everything out of it, just look at the whole situation. People are just being killed for no reason.
Like,
Like,
why
little
wouldn't
kids
you-
are
yeah.
dying. Like, you really want to say, I'm not educated enough to speak about it.
Yeah.
What more do you need to know
Yeah.
about the situation that's
Yeah.
literally in front of you? You're seeing pictures and videos of kids, women, everyone just being harassed constantly, and still the excuse has to be, I'm not educated enough.
And honestly, like, the reason is like, with other issues that happen around the world, sometimes they don't have to do with religion or two sides. It's just that, like, oh, people are dying, there's famine, there's food shortages or whatever. But specifically, since there's like religion, people think it's like strictly like religion is attached towards it, and like it's only like Palestine, Israel. At the end of the day, it's not just two sides. It's literally about children dying, and like
Yeah.
people that can't even defend themselves that are dying. So it's more like focus more on like the major issue here, rather than like, oh, it's religion. Oh, it's
Human
like,
life,
yeah, it's
yeah.
just Palestinians
Yeah.
and Israel fighting.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, agreed.
How many, like, me personally, I've only seen Muslims post on like social media about
Yeah.
it, and that's all. It's only who it is, and
Yeah.
I've seen probably maybe 2% of non-Muslims who I can be like, damn, like this doesn't really affect you, but you went out of your way to put this on your story to raise awareness and stuff. Like,
Yeah.
is that the same for you guys?
Yeah, definitely.
well?
For me, it's one person that I know that's not
Really?
Muslim that's posted
Really?
it.
I think it
yeah.
might be one for me
Yeah.
too.
Are they
I'm
like,
just being
are
generous
these
with 1%,
like your friends
2%.
or influencers?
I think
or
this is
what?
someone I went to high school with. That's what
Okay.
I'm
And someone I
talking
went to
about.
undergrad with.
Like
Everyone
someone
that
you
I went
know.
to high school with, right? Like when it's any other topic or anything
They're
that's going
always
on in the
posting.
world, like they definitely post about it. Like I see them and like, you know, people like that will consider themselves woke, but then I haven't seen those same people that post out about other stuff that's going on in the world. I haven't seen them post anything about
Yeah.
this specific situation. And honestly, it's hard not to ignore it. It's on everyone's story. And especially if you follow me too, like I post it
Every
every
single
single
day,
day. Yeah.
Like it'll be completely different, and like imagine if it was like Russia oppressing Poland or something,
Yeah,
right?
mhm.
Every single white person we talk, or everyone with
Yeah.
Polish
Or
descent,
you know when
right?
Notre
or friends with a
Dame,
Polish person.
Notre
would be
Dame,
called-
Dame,
got,
yeah.
like was
Yeah.
burnt on fire.
Yeah,
or
I feel like
whatever.
the amount
Yeah,
of money that they
the amount of
raise,
money and-
national news coverage,
Instantly,
international news
instantly,
coverage,
yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
it's
And
literally
like billionaires
crazy.
were donating to it. Millionaires were donating for the building to get recovered.
It was like within a day too. They got so
Yeah,
many donations and
exactly.
Yeah.
everything.
I mean, it's just really sad. I mean, I think you guys touched on it, right? But it's like, don't. A lot of people are like, I have to look into the past. I need to educate
Yeah.
myself. Who shot who first? This and
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, yeah.
At the end of the day, no matter who shot who first,
Yeah.
right? People are dying, and it's a lot more on one side than the other side, bro. But
Mhm.
like 10 times, 20 times, 30 times, 40 times, like you got to call it for what it is
It's
and
not
like
fair.
call for it to like not happen,
Yeah,
right?
mhm.
Like I've seen people like post and say, I'm not taking sides, but I just want peace in the I just
Yeah.
want peace in the region.
You're
like
clearly
that's a
true-
really
yeah.
that's a really like, you know what? I just have to say something.
Oh, you know who I saw do that?
Who?
Rihanna.
Oh
Oh, did she say
yeah.
that?
And I was
saw
like, nah. I saw one
Yeah.
of my friends like that post, and they're not Muslim or Desi or whatever. And I was like, yo, why did you like that? Like, they're like, I don't see the problem. And I'm like, yo, that's not like.
It's
And
not.
that's
That's not a
the
good depiction.
thing,
Like,
yeah.
there's fault in that. I
It's like
explained it.
saying
To them.
in,
I saw my
like-
sister like
yeah.
it. My sister, you watching this? We gotta talk. Well, you should not have liked that post. That's not a good
You know who
post.
else I saw? It was on Twitter. Have you guys seen Malala's tweet
I did
about the
not.
whole
I
situation?
heard
Yeah.
she was getting
She-
backlash,
what did
but
she
I don't know
call it?
what
She
she
literally
said.
called it like a whole conflict and like how I don't.
She's
quote
trying to go
me
to
on
like the
this,
history
yeah.
part of it.
Yeah, she left out
Yeah.
everything. Like, she literally called it a conflict, saying that like I don't want to be quoted on exactly what was said, but
Mhm.
she was really just more on like, oh, like I want peace.
Yeah.
In the region,
Yeah,
all this
no, a
and
lot
that.
of influencers, like, in order to, you know, basically protect themselves, they say, oh, it's not about choosing sides, it's about, like, people dying. Okay, yeah, that's true, but also, a lot of the times, if you're, like, neutral, you know that famous quote, like, if you stay neutral and during injustice, you have chosen the side of the oppressor.
Yeah.
And every influencer that's doing that, like, clearly you've chosen
If you
the
say you
side.
want peace in the nation, you're
Yeah,
choosing
exactly.
neutrality, or if anything,
Yeah.
you're choosing
Yeah.
the oppressor's side.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah. No, that's crazy because we have Bella Hadid who came out.
Yeah.
Like I think that's like the only person I saw that's
yeah,
like
that's
big.
like really
one.
prominent.
Mhm.
Like
Yeah.
she actively went to the
Uh-huh.
protest. She literally every single day her story consists of like 15
Yeah,
posts
yeah.
or more.
Yeah.
She even posts her on her own Instagram story. And then recently I saw that Michael Kors and
Yeah.
Dior dropped her.
They did, yeah.
And you know, at the end of the day, like she has an influence. She holds the power that she has. Having these brands drop her, it doesn't say anything about her. It says more about these brands.
Yeah, she could live without the brands,
Exactly,
bro. And I
yeah.
feel like I wish like other people, man. I feel like this is literally like a movie, bro. Like in the sense
Mhm.
for like
I feel that.
everyone knows what the right thing to do is, and no
Yeah.
one's doing it. And you're like
Yeah.
watching it, and you're like, all right, who's gonna do it? Like, come
Mhm.
on, bro.
You're waiting
Like
for that.
the,
to drop,
everyone's
yeah.
already bought out. It's like so crazy. Like you can see
Yeah.
like the entire media, like CNN,
controlled
and
by-
no,
yeah.
no one's talking about it.
Mhm.
Like you had 25,000 people last
Yeah.
weekend in Chicago.
Yeah.
No one said
Yeah.
anything on
Yeah.
ABC7. Nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing.
And going back to like
what? Are you kidding me?
saying like, oh yeah, you know, other
How?
people that aren't educated about it not posting on it. The thing is, Instagram has also been censoring
I've been
a
seeing
lot
that.
of people's
Yeah,
story.
I've been
This
seeing
one
that.
influencer, she gets like 6,000 views on her story, and usually the first story that she
800, right?
posts,
Yeah, I saw that.
yeah,
I saw that.
literally,
I saw that too.
the first post like
Gets the most views.
Yeah, it gets
Yeah.
the most views, and she got like
She got like 600 and the rest were like 6,000.
6,000, and I'm just like that blows
It
my.
makes no
Clearly,
sense.
this is problematic.
No, like, do you think
it's
it was on your own
obvious,
stories too?
yeah.
Like the
Mhm.
numbers have been
Yeah.
dropping on your own
I
stories.
think you are
I've
right
noticed
about
that.
that.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that, and then it's just so sad to see because just so recently, right?
Yeah.
where we had the whole Black Lives Matter movement.
Yeah.
Everyone was super active about it,
Mhm.
and the people that didn't speak up, they were getting pressured into speaking up
Yeah.
by people that did, right? Like if you didn't post
and
about
they would
it,
post a black
it made you
screen
look
and go
bad,
on
right?
with their
Yeah.
lives,
Exactly.
Yeah.
you know what I mean? But for
Mhm.
this, it's like, oh, it's a different country.
Yeah.
I don't
It's not
care. It's
here.
not my people.
Yeah.
It's not in
And
the US.
the thing is, when people posted, like even during Black Lives Matter, I feel like a lot of them posted it to, you know, be like, oh, I don't want to get backlash. I don't want to
Yeah.
like make myself look bad. I want to protect my brand. And
Exact-
now,
but now-
in this situation, they don't want to speak on it because they want to
Because
like
they're getting paid by people
exactly
that want to
that
protect Israel.
support it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's sad.
And it's
dude.
insane about how many like brands and how many companies support it. I know that everyone has seen it on Instagram. It's like a list of brands. So definitely we've reposted it on our story as well. But definitely look into that because there's so many brands you wouldn't even expect.
Yeah, and then people calling it a political topic.
Yeah.
What are you guys' thoughts on this?
Okay. Like I'm literally gonna go back to what I said. At the end of the day, people are dying. What's so political about children
Yeah.
dying? What's so I've seen pictures where it's like a like IDF soldier pointing a gun at a child. What are you defending
There was
yourself from?
literally a video of a kid, not even a kid, a baby, an infant who got shot with rubber bullets. A baby. And how can you?
It's
Self-defense,
intimidate
bro.
a child?
Self-defense.
And then
Yeah.
their excuse
From
like
what
they've
the
been throwing
cries-
rocks or something like that. Like what excuse do people have?
It's crazy how there's so much videos and pictures that have been documented.
Yeah.
I can't even think about or fathom the fact of all the stuff that we haven't even
Yeah.
seen yet.
Seen.
Yeah.
It's like someone is managing to take these pictures and post it online so we have that
Yeah.
content. But there's so much
And
we haven't
some of
even
them have
seen
been
yet.
taken down too.
They have.
That too.
Yeah.
There was this Joe Rogan podcast I was listening to that you recorded like a while ago. I don't know if you
really?
guys saw it or not.
No.
It was like a while ago, and he
I
had
don't know who
someone
that
on. I
is.
forgot the name. So Joe Rogan is like a really big podcaster,
Mm-hmm.
and he's also part of like UFC and all
Yeah.
that, right? But he had someone on who visited Palestine like a few years ago, and she was talking about how terrible it was, and like you literally cannot take pictures or anything. Oh, so people in Jerusalem that were Palestinian, if they said anything online bad about the Israeli government, or if they posted anything, a picture of someone being brutalized, right? They got punished in the same number of days and months as the number of likes.
Views or like likes.
The
or
number
something
of views or likes that
I
post
heard
got.
about that.
How long ago was this?
This was like 2-3 years ago.
I heard about
I saw
that.
this podcast. Yeah.
Oh.
Like imagine like you post a picture of a Palestinian child getting beaten or something,
Yeah.
right? And it gets 100 likes. You get 100 days in jail.
Yeah.
Like what kind of like
What kind of political system is that?
how is
first
that?
of all?
That's not politics, bro.
Yeah.
It's not.
And it really makes me think like the U.S. right? The USA. We live in the USA, and people compare this to the Holocaust, right?
Yeah.
Like Nazi Germany
Yeah.
over the Jews, right?
Mhm.
Ironically enough,
Yeah.
right? And then we're the USA, so like back in World War II, World War One, we were against that, right?
Yeah.
Everyone was like, "Oh, look what's
Mhm.
happening in Germany," right?
Yeah.
But if we were like right now, I feel like we're like Japan,
yeah.
like we're like on their side, right? So we're like, it's like no one's like we see it happening, but no one's saying
yeah.
anything about it.
And even
Because
like,
we're like, because they're like on our team or something.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Israel.
even
Like
if
it's so
we,
whack.
if we're like currently in our situation, right? A lot of people would look back and they'd be like, "Oh yeah, how did people allow the Holocaust to happen?"
Yeah.
Same thing that's happening here. Like there's
Exactly.
like there's only so much we can do. That's why posting on social media, going to these protests,
Mhm.
like even though some people might think it doesn't do anything, it does something, and
Mhm.
it's the least you can do. And I feel like that's like the first step to doing something at least.
And there are Palestinians that are in Palestine and Palestinians here that say like posting is the only thing that's keeping them
Yeah.
like keeping awareness right
Yeah.
now
They-
and
they
keeping
said
the
it
conversation.
themselves,
They said
yeah.
it themselves. So if they're saying it, what reason do we have to stop?
Mhm,
And what reason do you have not to
Not
post
to
thinking
believe
thinking
them.
that your voice isn't
Yeah.
gonna matter?
Yeah.
You know? So yeah, yeah, it's crazy. So I feel like a lot of people are saying this, like celebrities, especially influencers and stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
They misquote their statements versus those that are like actively posting. What are you guys' thoughts on that? Like they'll say one thing,
but then mean another.
but
or,
they mean
like,
another thing.
Yeah.
It's like
So I've seen some influencers, like Muslims influencers specifically, they have a lot of brand partnerships, and they'll obviously first they'll speak out on the topic, but what really makes a difference is them actually going to these brands,
Mhm.
emailing them, be like, I'm canceling my partnership with you because you
There was
stand
an
for
influencer that did that. Miriam.
I don't know.
Miriam.
Yeah.
Yeah. we
You
know
guys
that,
know what I'm
yeah.
talking about.
How big of an influencer is
She's
she? you know?
big.
I don't know. who
Decent
that is.
enough,
Decent,
like,
yeah.
and the fact that she went out of her way to
Mhm.
message these brands like, oh yeah, I'm canceling my what is
Miriam
it?
Ishtiaq.
Yeah. So she's like, I'm
Oh, okay.
canceling my partnership with you guys. Is also another step. She's actively doing something about it. While some influencers, they'll post about it, like one post, and they'll like say something along the lines like, oh, I just stand for peace or whatever, and that's it. And then they'll go
Yeah.
on posting content and stuff. Especially there's some Muslim influencers.
Muslims.
That,
I've seen Muslims do that, yeah.
exactly,
And they're only doing it just so they don't get canceled.
Yeah.
Have
That's
you
all
guys
they
seen
care
any
about.
non-Muslim celebrities speak on the subject? 'Cause
I
So the-
have.
I have to.
Yeah. The only ones that I've seen, so there's a lot of TikTokers where they've accidentally posted something problematic. They take it down, then they get caught in the act, and then they post something about it. They're like, oh no, I stand for peace. But do you realize they only did that because they got caught in the
Yeah.
act? And then they
Yeah.
turn off their comments.
There was one. There
Oh,
was
they
one.
can't
There was
stand
one
I see what you're
influencer. She
saying.
literally like posted that when we pick a side, we're giving into the divide and whatever is going
Yeah.
on.
Oh,
And then
what does that even
and
mean?
then my friend
What does that even
my
mean?
friend literally DM'd her. She went off. She's like, "What are you even saying? Like, if you don't know, if you're not educated on the topic, like, don't say all these things and whatever." And then she deleted her post and she went back and said, "You guys are misunderstanding me. Like, we stand for Palestine." I'm sorry, but I did not get that from your last post.
Yeah.
Like, people are just doing this
the
just so they don't
reason
get
you
canceled.
Yeah, exactly.
I think. Do you know if I remember Kyrie spoke in an interview?
Oh, he said that. Yeah, that was huge.
But I don't know if he
What did he
said
say?
like free.
So he,
Palestine.
he
I
so
think
he
he was just
didn't-
like.
okay, but okay. So
Do you remember?
Yeah, I think the vibe of the interview was different. He had an opportunity to say it, but the fact that he even brought it up at all.
Yeah.
Because most okay. So
Wait, did he just bring it
so-
up on
so
his
pretty
own?
much-
What did he say?
So
You can-
Kyrie,
you can say it.
so Kyrie Irving is a famous
Mhm.
basketball player for the Nets, and he's really good and everything, right?
Recent convert. Now he's Muslim.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Recent convert, Muslim, and everything. He had a post-game press conference. Usually after the game, you talk about the game.
Yeah.
Reporters are gonna ask you questions about the game, this and that, right?
Yeah.
And that's all your job is, right? To answer the questions. They were asking him questions, and he paused. He said, "I'm just gonna let y'all know I'm not gonna answer any basketball-related questions or anything. I just want to use this time to let everyone know that there's a lot of stuff going on in the world right now that's really messed up. And
Yeah.
I really encourage you guys to educate yourself and to speak about that."
Mhm.
He didn't specifically say Palestine, but I feel like that was a platform where he didn't even have to say anything at
Yeah,
all.
that's
He
true.
could've
And
gone
on top
without.
of that, where he's like, I'm not gonna speak
Speak
on
about
basketball.
Yeah.
I'm gonna I just want to inform people about
Yeah.
what's going on. I feel like that's a
That's-
good
It's
step.
like a
Okay.
double-edged sword. Like he could have said
Yeah.
Palestine.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, we know where he stands. So,
Mm.
I just wish more people like for example, the NBA put BLM on the court. Like
Yeah.
I wish brands that we know of, right,
Mhm.
kind of like took a stance of Palestine,
Yeah.
but it's more like just individual influencers, individual people.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
Yeah.
a lot of the reason for is like they're just afraid because about the customers, clients, or
Yeah.
the amount of things they'll lose just by standing
The
up
Zionist
for
Jewish funding.
exactly.
Bella Hadid can lose her contract.
Yeah,
with
it's and the thing is like
brands.
we know like how much the U.S. government is funding Israel alone just for their army, and like just because the U.S. is funding that, imagine how many brands are funding that. So it's literally just about
Hollywood
money.
in general. Hollywood
Yeah.
in general is Zionist Jew funded.
Oh,
bro.
yeah.
Like everyone
Mhm.
knows.
There's
That's
a
why
lot of
you'll never see, you'll
celebrities.
barely see anyone in
Yeah.
Hollywood speak out
Yeah.
about it because
Yeah.
that's your acting rules. That's
I haven't
everything.
seen any. Have you guys seen any other celebrity that's
I haven't.
spoken
Not
about
like
it?
major
Yeah.
celebrities.
Yeah.
I know, like I think FuziTube is Palestinian, but he's like,
No. Even
I think he
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 said one
talks
thing-
about it.
Did you see his IGTV video? It was actually really good.
Really?
He,
Yeah, well,
he
he
said
posted on
one thing
IGTV.
about it, and like
he had like a whole 2-3 minute clip
Oh.
Yeah.
talking about his experience of Palestine. That's
Yeah.
his blood. He grew up there. He stands
and he was
there
like,
no matter
Palestine
what.
till
It
I
was
die.
good. It was
And he
good.
talked about it too, so
Yeah.
that's like
okay, that's
He dedicated a whole post
yeah,
to it,
exactly.
everything.
That's
it was,
respectable as
it
well.
was
yeah,
good.
It is.
I
I
guess
know
the-
Zayn
yeah.
Malik posted
Yeah,
on
he
it too.
did.
Oh yeah.
Who
Yeah.
else? I don't.
Gigi did too briefly.
Gigi did. Yeah,
Yeah.
Gigi's been
Yeah,
posting
Gigi's
on
been posting
her
too.
Gigi Hadid.
yeah, on her whole Instagram story. But yeah, like other prominent influencers, other prominent celebrities, just anyone that has a major platform.
Yeah.
I haven't seen anyone.
Me
else
neither.
I think
posting.
DJ Khaled got.
Oh,
Oh,
what is
yeah.
up with this
Oh my
dude?
God.
This goofy.
Yeah.
Oh my
I don't know
god,
what
he
he's
was
doing.
promoting his whole album.
Yeah.
He's like, let me promote all of
Yeah, nobody
this.
listens to you anymore.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No one does. And then I know a bunch of other people were like adding him, like, okay, speak about Palestine, speak
He
about.
literally
but he,
copied and pasted.
yeah, he made one post,
Yeah.
and like that's all I've seen so far. But you have
He
the
literally
influence.
copied and pasted from Bella Hadid's dad's post.
Oh really? I
Yeah.
didn't know
Oh, really?
that.
Wasn't it? I'm
I'm
pretty
not
sure I
sure.
saw
I'm not
that.
I didn't know
sure.
he
Don't quote
posted
me on that
anything, bro.
either.
I was
Yeah.
just like,
But
no,
that was
'cause
even, like, whatever.
I noticed that he posted it after a bunch of people were adding him,
Mm-hmm.
like speak on it, and which is funny.
he just
'cause-
gave into the pressure of
Yeah,
saying
and would he have
something.
done
He
that
went
if it
back-
wasn't for his
No,
album
he would not
dropping?
have.
Yeah.
You know, like
He would
it's
not
not like
have.
the
Even
numbers
his
do good in
promo
general.
Video, like, even
Yeah.
his promo, like, that was so.
Oh yeah, the promo video.
Yeah.
Did you guys see the promo? He's
No.
like
Or
it was
he
like he was
was
like
praying.
making
Promo video
Wow.
for what?
He was
Oh,
making
Yeah.
for his album.
And he's a
yeah.
producer a
He
lot.
brings
Producer
yeah,
Allah.
he brings God into a lot of his content
Yeah.
for no reason at
Talks
all.
about
But
Allah,
standing
this,
up for,
yeah.
like,
Yeah,
I don't know.
The rights and everything. No.
Yeah, no, it's sad, bro.
it's fake activism.
I guess a
Mhm.
question I have for you guys, right? So I think we kind of touched on it, right? But you have these massive influence that could afford to lose brands over like they have so many different streams of income. They could afford to
Yeah.
lose a brand over this conflict. are there people that are employed by Zionist Jew potential companies, brands that's their sole source of income, and they
Yeah.
literally, if they speak out, they lose. Like they pull like a Kaepernick per se,
Mhm.
right? You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like they lose everything.
Yeah.
It's like how do you navigate that if you're like that type of brand or that type of person, and that's like your sole source of income,
Mhm.
and if you say something, you lose that, and then what?
Yeah.
Right? So they're kind of put into a corner.
Definitely. I mean, like, I don't know what I would say about that specifically, but even like a huge company like Google, there was Jewish people
They did the internal
within
thing.
the
That was
company.
sick.
They're like
Yeah.
saying to the CEO like, "Oh, you should speak about it or like do something about it." I forgot.
Sundar.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So they did something about it. And Google's a huge company.
Yeah.
So, and I do understand, if that's your main source of income, but that shouldn't stop you from speaking on it. At least you're doing
Agreed.
something. It doesn't mean you have to publicize it, but if you're
Mhm.
individually doing something on your own or privately, at least do something.
Or within people within an organization
Exactly,
and having some kind
exactly.
of group or something.
Mhm.
Like they won't
Yeah.
fire all of you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm also thinking about this very Islamically, and I know like a lot of people
Yeah.
might not agree the same way, but I think once you're doing the right thing, Allah takes care of your affairs.
That's true.
Yeah.
I
That's
truly
a good
believe
way.
that.
That's a
Yeah.
good.
Like
good
so, like
example.
your income, like I know like people's lives depend on it, their
Yeah.
jobs and everything.
And
but
obviously, way easier than done.
Said than
you
done,
know,
Kaepernick
yeah,
quit,
but-
or he got let go pretty much, and then he got a Nike brand deal.
Wait, who
Mhm.
let who got?
Kaepernick.
Kaepernick,
Oh,
like he lost his job because
yeah.
of Black Lives Matter. He got a
Exactly.
he got a Nike brand deal. He's probably making more
Yeah.
now than he was playing.
yeah, that means it
So it's
works
like-
out eventually.
Mm-hmm.
The money will always come. Depend. Like
What are
just-
your guys' opinion on it?
I agree with that honestly.
Yeah.
Nazish, you put it really well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of.
It's hard. It's not.
It's
It's not
really
easy. You
hard.
can't just be like.
It's
It's
not.
hard. It's hard. It's easy to say it. It's
Yeah.
hard to
But
do
it's
it,
hard to, yeah,
right?
exactly.
It takes a lot of
execute it.
thought and a lot of consideration
Yeah.
and
I'm
planning.
trying, to, I'm trying to think of other brands that spoke out on the subject or
Brands
In
the right
specifically
I'm saying brands
didn't.
are not speaking
Like,
out.
Much.
it's these influencers that, like, even these minor
Yeah.
influencers speak on it, but I haven't seen a
Yeah.
brand.
That's the thing.
Like a
I saw
well-known
like,
That's the
TikTok
thing.
where like makeup brands like Elf and Nivea and all like they support the like they
They
support
did, like, they
Palestine, yeah.
openly. Oh,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
that's surprising.
I mean,
to be
it
honest.
Yeah.
obviously hasn't been like advertised or anything,
Yeah.
but the
Mhm.
TikTok like they had screenshots of them like promoting like Palestine. And
Was it like
everything
on their
that.
social media, or
I
where were they
think-
promoting?
It was either on like they saw it. I don't know. I think it was social
Okay,
media.
if,
thing,
if it was on that some sort of like their platform,
yeah.
I feel like
then
that's like
it's
a
bigger.
significant deal.
But the fact that we haven't seen it, like
yeah,
that says a lot.
I haven't seen
I haven't seen it. Yeah, I wouldn't have
yeah.
found out until I saw
Yeah.
that TikTok.
I think I'd probably encourage people, right? If you're like part of a company or part of like a brand or something,
Yeah.
and they haven't spoken on it, get like a little group together with people that follow the same
Yeah.
cause within that
Mhm.
company and just write a letter to
And
like exactly
it
what Google
makes-
did. They wrote a letter to the
exactly.
CEO as like a group, as
As
a
a
pact,
group.
right? And that's that could be a good start to get something done.
I think
Yeah.
that's the only scenario I know of someone actually doing something.
Yeah,
about
yeah,
it.
Yeah.
exactly, and it was like
Yeah.
publicized too.
Yeah, so shout out to them for that. And they were Jews. They weren't
yeah,
even Palestinians.
exactly.
They were
that says
they were
a
Jews.
lot. That says a lot.
And I think I wanted to cover this too and talk about it a little bit, like the whole. And this is gonna kind of transition more into like our informative video.
Mhm.
But if you guys like, there's a lot of Jews out there that are actually doing a lot of good when it comes to this entire conflict, right? That are like actually taking the side of Palestinians and like calling out the Israelis for what they're doing wrong, and Israel in general. So I think it's really important for us to also note that like it's a very very select
If they
few
acknowledge
that
it, yeah.
that
Mhm.
like are Zionist and part of that
Yeah.
Israeli government or part of that population.
And it takes a lot for
Mhm.
them to specifically, have a stance with Palestine.
And denounce
Yeah,
their
and
own
that's
state.
Exactly.
very brave of them.
Yeah,
and,
so
you
shout
know,
out,
like,
shout out
to them,
anyone
yeah.
that's Jewish and taking the side of Muslims that are Palestinians against Jews, right? Like, shout out to y'all because y'all are
Mhm.
actually y'all are just doing the right thing, honestly.
Mhm.
Like, yeah,
And their voice says more than
And
like
yeah,
ours.
their
Exactly.
voice like sits heavy with everyone else.
Exactly.
A lot more than like whatever we
Ours
say.
would.
Yeah,
Exactly,
exactly.
100%.
I just remember what I wanted to say. It's not related to that, but on storing things, there've been a lot of pages that have been like, yo, that we've all posted a lot of donation pages like,
Yeah.
yeah, I'll raise $1 million, raise 500,000. And we've all, some of these pages are not really credible. That's something I've noticed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That I'm going like to their recent posts in the comments. People are like, oh,
Are there any
what proof do you
specific
have that
ones
you're
you've
actually helping?
seen?
I don't
It
know,
was
but
I don't know. There was one
I think-
post. It was just like this woman like sitting down and kneeling. I don't know what the name of it, but
Oh.
that's what the
Yeah, I
post
feel like
was.
you could put any picture,
there's
any
been,
Yeah,
text,
that's what I'm
exactly.
saying.
Yeah.
There's been at
I only-
least
I
And
don't-
people
the only
would
thing-
post
yeah.
people's heartstrings. So like, people like, oh my
Yeah,
god, I'm
it
gonna donate
does.
right away. Because also, if you think about it, like I want to know
Yeah.
like how they do this whole process of
That's what I'm
donating,
saying.
where it goes, like proof of it, because a lot of time we blindly just like donate it because obviously it affects us greatly. So we just want to give whatever we can, so we don't question it.
And
That's
there's been a
what I'm
lot of fundraisers.
There's been
Yeah.
at least
like, a
5 to
lot.
10 I've seen on our
I've
story.
seen-
I've storied
yeah.
3
I have
myself.
too.
Yeah.
I've donated
I have
to 3
too.
myself,
I
and then
have
I go back and I went back and checked.
You're like,
One of my
"Oh, no."
I storied it, and my friend messaged me.
was
He's
in
like,
the
"Yo,
notes?
I don't know. It was
Nas is like, I did
it
that
was-
too,
I know,
man,
yeah,
because of
the
you.
same thing that you
It
did
was
the
like
more.
5-6 days ago when it was fresh, and my friend was like,
That's so
"Yo,
sad.
remove this from your story, bro. Like they're not
Yeah.
credible." And I'm like, "What do you mean, bro?" He's like, "Yo, you just check their post, like the recent posts and their comments. People are adding them. Like, yo, like, can you just show some
Proof.
authenticity and
Proof.
stuff or something?" And they're not even replying to people. They're
That's
not
so sad.
trying, and I'm just like,
Yeah.
"Oh,
Yeah.
you're right."
That's
So
a
I
red
just removed
flag.
it, and then I'm like, "Yeah."
And
just-
speaking of donations, the same influence, Miriam, she posted how Venmo, if you write
Yeah.
for Palestine,
Palestine.
support anything with the word Palestine,
The
it says
transaction will go
it's
through.
like we're processing our teams
I'm
like
gonna
reviewing
try
it.
this after
And
this.
then literally she tested it
She
out,
tried
and
it.
then
Venmo
they
me
did,
right here.
and they
Tell me what
donated
to
like
hear.
$1. It said like they
My
just
phone's on
wrote the
recording.
caption
I mean,
Israel,
after that, we
and then
gonna-
it went
Venmo me.
through.
It went through. Yeah, they
Exactly.
just changed like the title of the
like
of the
instead of
payment.
Palestine they put Israel,
And it went through.
and it went through.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's
It
just
just goes to show you
So use
who's in
QuickPay,
power.
guys.
Like,
yeah.
there's
Yeah.
a
And the
lot
way
of
that
power and
they're doing
influence.
so much to restrict it, you know.
Yeah, like they're
It's
going
like-
more out of their way to
Yeah.
restrict it and keep track of what's going on
What's going on.
rather than helping.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, dude. I think Google taking a stance and saying something is huge because they're an
Yeah.
information platform.
But they
Shout
haven't
out to
taken a
Google.
stance.
or
yet, right?
whatever. I
Well,
don't-
there's one
whatever
step
they-
forward.
yeah.
but
Yeah,
the fact
like,
that their own
exactly.
employees,
exactly.
talked on it. That's
Yeah,
that's
so like
a huge
that being
step.
said, like what's other ways? I guess like what could we do to help? Like what are other than
Yeah.
donating and I think
Educating.
educating each
Yeah.
other? What are other things we could do
Definitely
to help? We
going
have rallies
to
that we go
protests,
to.
yeah,
Okay.
like the
Protests,
rallies, like
'cause those-
Uh-huh.
like the Chicago one. The first one had 10,000, and this most recent one had
25.
25,000.
Crazy, yeah.
There's one that was today, and then there's another one that might be
On
Sunday.
Sunday, yeah.
like those help a lot. Just seeing everyone.
And it's all over the nation too. I've
Yeah.
seen it DC, Seattle,
Everywhere.
everywhere's doing it, which is awesome.
Not even just the
Not even
United
here,
States.
yeah, like
in France, they did it
Yeah,
in
I
France.
saw that too.
The fact that
France.
they did it in France says a lot and there was this one person, they had a bunch of policemen, and this one person was holding a Palestine flag, and a huge herd of policemen were like chasing after him in France. And I was like, he does not have a gun on him.
Bro,
What is he
France,
gonna
I don't
Oh
want to.
my
I
What
don't
is
even
he
want to
gonna
give
do?
any
Yeah,
publicity to
literally.
France right now, bro.
Exactly.
Stop it. Yeah. Yeah, I mean.
But yeah,
so-
all over the world, and it's like even
All
like
over
the
the world.
surrounding
Yeah.
countries around Palestine,
Yeah.
they've taken a stance. It's honestly
Turkey
amazing to
and
see.
Pakistan,
Yeah.
Yeah. On the Unfiltered Instagram page, I think the donation stuff that we share is gonna be like authentic and like
Yeah,
real,
yeah,
so
we'll
we're- so
definitely
we're gonna
make
vet it
sure
out
we
and
did our
check. So if you
research.
guys see it on our story or like in
Yeah.
our like highlights,
I
then-
think the page is Muslim Relief. I think they're pretty credible.
so is Pali Roots. Pali
Pali
Roots
Yeah,
has been
Pali
doing a
Roots,
lot,
yeah.
and they also have like a thing going on where if you donate like $10 or something, you also get like a
They
cool
match
bracelet.
it.
Yeah.
That's
So
dope.
it's like it's really
Exactly.
dope. So definitely look into that. I'm sure
And
there's other ones
definitely
too.
educate. Like if someone isn't going out of their way to educate, or if someone's like,
Educate your
oh,
family.
yeah, literally,
Educate
and
your
like
family
even if your friends don't know about
Like
it,
a
like
sister.
speak to them,
Yeah,
Talk to
educate
them.
them
Where's
on
in your
it.
No, my
circle.
sister knows, but I don't know what. I gotta talk to her. I forgot. It slipped
Yeah.
my mind. Y'all want to applaud you though. You changed your profile picture
Oh yeah.
to raise awareness.
I saw
And
someone else
I was
do
thinking
it.
about. I was
saw
thinking
someone
about
else do
doing
it,
it.
I'm like, you
until
know
we
what,
make a
screw
difference.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah, this-
seriously.
yeah, it's-
I'm going to do it.
I have.
afterwards.
It's not like who
Yeah.
cares, bro. Like I have nothing to lose by doing it.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like, I
Straight
have no
up.
brand sponsoring me.
Yeah.
I'll sell myself to Palestine, bro. I'm
Yeah.
down. Yeah. So
that's
I mean,
funny.
it's a cool quote you can put here in the show notes.
Oh
Nazish.
yeah, I did.
So in the end, we will remember not the words of our enemies, but the silence of our friends.
Exactly.
I think that's a good way to end it
It
off.
is.
Yeah. So thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll catch you guys in the next episode.